Good evening. Thank you all so much for being with us tonight. I hope you're all safe and well. My name is Kevin Williams. I'm the Director of Undergraduate Programs in the College of Business, and tonight we're here to learn a little bit more about the Miller School of Entrepreneurship. So I'm here with Dr. Harris, who is the Director of the Miller School. I'm going to turn it over to him in just a minute, but I just want to remind everyone that there's a Q&A panel over on the right-hand side of your screen. So if you have questions, while the presentation is happening, feel free to post those questions. Those are private. They come directly to me and Dr. Harris. And we hope to have a few questions towards the end so we can address some of you guys' questions. I'll make an announcement in just a minute so you can see where that pops up. That's where you're able to type that Q&A. And then be on the lookout. I may post some information as Dr. Harris is going through his presentation, just so you can locate some of the things that he may be talking to you about. Okay? So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Harris. Dr. Harris?
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. First of all, I want to congratulate you on a very smart decision. We are so glad to have you at ECU. And you know why I know it's a smart decision? Because I, too, am an alum of East Carolina. I was here in fall of 1988 in the exact spot that you are now. And I graduated in 92, so I'm a proud pirate. So we're very excited to have you on campus in the fall, and I am here to talk about the Miller School. So in 2015, thanks to Fielding and Kim Miller, we received an endowment to create a school. And on a college campus, when you create a school, that's you actually placing a big flag in the ground and says, and you are saying that entrepreneurship is very important. So as we created this school, we wanted to make sure to create assets that support the school. So certainly as an institution of higher learning, the first thing we thought about was the creation of a degree. So it took me about 2 years, and we were very thorough in the way we created a new degree, and it's Bachelor's of Science in Entrepreneurship. So that was launched last August in the fall semester. So we have the Bachelor's of Science in Entrepreneurship. And it's a 120-hour program, and it's chock full of experiential, hands-on learning. We have a variety of classes on the essentials of entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial finance, entrepreneurial strategy, small business management. We've got a consulting class. We have the Capstone is a new venture launch. So before you graduate with the Bachelor's of Science in Entrepreneurship from ECU, you will have learned how to develop an idea and determine if the idea is a true opportunity, and then to learn all the elements it takes to put the resources together to actually launch the business. So in the Capstone course, it's actually a launch class where you get to learn how to launch, how to incorporate and start a new venture. The other thing that we're very excited about our degree is that we've got lots of opportunities for hands-on learning. So we have multiple classes that actually involve clients. So I served as the professor of a consulting class for 20 years, and we work with clients every semester. So every semester we've got multiple clients in that class. And the entire process, entire course, it revolves around a consulting model where you get to work with live clients with actual problems, and you have to, as a team, you have to develop the understanding of their industry, of the client, and to develop the recommendations. That's extremely exciting. It's a great way to learn. And every year in that course, we submit projects to a national competition. It's called the Small Business Institute Project of the Year Award. And I'm very proud to say that in the last 15 years, an ECU team has placed in the top 14 out of the last 15 years, and 9 times national champion. So we have very smart students who work with very interesting clients. So another interesting component of our degree is that 18 hours of our degree is around a minor or a specialty areas. Certainly entrepreneurship is a process, and a part of our job is to help you understand the entrepreneurial process and the resources it takes to put elements together to create the venture. But the other thing is that we help you find a passion. So we want you to find a minor or a specialty area. And that becomes 18 hours of your program. And then we surround that with these other very experiential learning courses so that you get a great experience. As I created the degree, I was very authentic in the way that we looked at lots of other programs, and we really wanted to make sure that it's a degree that when you leave, you have a great amount of knowledge about the process, but also a lot of experience to put on your resume, which brings me to an interesting concept. Certainly in our degree, we expect some to graduate and to launch. But we also understand that the entrepreneurial process, it's sometimes the timing can be interesting. So I'm going to tell you a few stories soon about some who at an early age launch and they're very successful. But we also understand that sometimes in our program, you develop an idea and then you need to go to work in industry and develop your network and to raise money. And that it's not to say at 22, the best thing for you is to graduate and launch, even though we're excited about those who do. We also think that there's a lot who will, in our degree, graduate, find an entrepreneurial career, and then at some point in the future decide to launch the business. So as we created the degree, there were multiple pathways that we were very aware of, because we want to make sure that as you graduate that you have career opportunities. So if you graduate and you launch, I mean, you then become a job creator, and I think that's fantastic. But there are many companies, large and small, in Eastern North Carolina, throughout our state, throughout the region, throughout the country. They're looking for very entrepreneurial people who come in and they're able to solve problems and they're able to understand an idea and to develop an idea and to turn that idea into an opportunity to improve the finances of the business. So I've talked to many executives who are excited to hire those with the Bachelor's of Science in Entrepreneurship. So it's a degree for those who are interested in becoming an entrepreneur. I think it's also a great degree for those who are excited about an entrepreneurial career in the future. And the third area is that we in the past have seen quite a few who come from family firms, and it's often a case where once they're in our program and our courses, they're able to understand how to return home and adjust or to potentially change the family firm to get it ready for the next generation. I think that's always an exciting thing. So as we talk about the assets of the Miller School, we always start by emphasizing our degree. So we'd be very excited if you are interested in the Bachelor of Science in Entrepreneurship. And if you have any questions, I'd be glad to respond to any questions. The other thing that we created is an entrepreneurship certificate. So it's a 4-course program. Anyone at ECU who is an undergrad in any program is eligible for the entrepreneurship certificate. There is an entrepreneurship essentials, there is an entrepreneurial finance, an entrepreneurial marketing, and then in the Capstone course, that's where you put together the business model or the business plan to understand how to launch your concept. We're excited to say that as of now, we have 26 unique majors in the entrepreneurship certificate program. And the cool thing is that those in our degree are also in those same classes. So for at least 4 of your classes, we blend those in our degree and those in our certificate. So you could end up in a class in the Bachelor's of Science in Entrepreneurship with someone from art, someone from engineering, someone from education, or from anywhere across the campus at the undergraduate side. So we really think that developing these entrepreneurial teams is critical. The interesting thing about entrepreneurship is that it is often a team sport. In other words, you need to make sure that you surround yourself with other people who are diverse and can help complement the talents that you bring to the table. So we really emphasize how to put together a team approach in regards to entrepreneurship, to make sure that there's enough knowledge and talent in all the diverse areas, so that if you're able to develop that idea and you're ready to launch, that you have the resources and the talent to actually make it happen. So we're extremely excited about our curricular side, and that's our degree, that's our certificate. But the other thing that we're very excited about, and I forgot to tell you this, so let me stop for a quick second. The Miller School of Entrepreneurship is the only named school of entrepreneurship in the state. There are less than 10 in the country. So we are among a handful of named schools of entrepreneurship. And what that means, again, it's a commitment. It's a commitment from the Miller family. It's a commitment from ECU to say entrepreneurship and innovation matter on this campus. And it allows us to create a school with its own academic offerings. So that is a big deal that East Carolina and the Miller family invested in the creation of the school. And I'm very excited to be the director of the school. And as we have created all these programs, it's really to give you, the student, these great experiences. So as we created the school, very much like a startup, we looked at other programs across the country and said to ourselves, what are the elements we need to be not a good, but a great school of entrepreneurship? And certainly you've got to have a degree. Certainly you have to have a certificate or a minor. But you also have to have the co-curricular side. And that's where we got to work early. So 3 years ago, we launched the Pirate Challenge. And it is a pitch competition that any student at ECU is eligible for. So when we launched 3 years ago, it's a 3-round event. We had 57 teams in the first round competing for $20,000 in prizes. 2 years ago, we had 100 teams competing for $80,000 in prizes. This past academic year, we had 123 teams from 50 different majors competing in the Pirate Challenge for over $100,000 in prizes, which makes it one of the largest competitions of its type, not only in the state, but in the region and in the country. And what that means is that we have sponsors, we have alums who have invested in creating this co-curricular event, this competition that brings out the best ideas on the campus. And it's not just about the competition. I'm a competitive guy, so we thought, hey, it's fun to make this a competitive activity. But we also involve mentoring and connections and networking. So there's 3 rounds in the competition. Interestingly enough, this year, we've yet to release the information, but please, as soon as you're on campus, you look for information on the Pirate Challenge. But it will be a virtual event this year. So there is a first round, which historically is in October. There's a second round, which we are probably sliding the time frame to sometime in January. And then there's a final round at the end of the spring semester. And in the final round, that's where you get to pitch for money. And we involve a lot of very successful entrepreneurs. For example, this past year, the 3 judges were Phil D. Miller, who is the benefactor of the Miller School of Entrepreneurship, the founder CEO of Cap Trust; James Maynard, the co-founder CEO of the Golden Corral; and Taylor Walden, who won the inaugural challenge in 2018. Taylor is, I think she just turned 23, and she is a dynamic young entrepreneur who has exceeded $1 million in sales, and she just graduated last year. So we involve a lot of people in the event. It's a academic year-long process with lots of mentoring. And you know, the cool thing is that as an incoming freshman, the minute you step foot on the campus, you are eligible. And if you do not place in the top three your first year, you're eligible to come back your sophomore year and your junior year and your senior year. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, I'm a freshman. It sounds cool, but it's something I probably should wait until my sophomore year. No, absolutely not. So I want you to accept the challenge. If you have an idea, I want you to enter the Pirate Challenge next month in August. So the registration will open sometime in August and it will run till about early October. And if you have an idea and you're willing to work hard, we'll be glad to help with the mentoring side. So, quick story. Hannah Sanders last year was a freshman at East Carolina University, and she is in the Bachelor's of Science and Entrepreneurship degree program. Hannah decided to enter the Pirate Challenge with 122 other teams from 50 different majors across the campus. Hannah is around our office all the time. She's hardworking. She's always asking questions. She's always asking, how can she get better? Hannah came in second place in the Pirate Challenge just past February and won $10,000 to invest in the business. She did all that as a freshman at East Carolina University. When Taylor Walden won the Pirate Challenge the first year, Taylor was a sophomore. She was 19. She won, at the time, $12,000 to grow the business. She graduated this past year, and now she has a company that has exceeded $1 million in sales. So certainly I understand that you have to have the idea and that you have to be ready. But I want you to understand that as an incoming freshman, as a freshman on this campus next month, if you have the idea and it's developed enough and you're willing to work hard to continue to develop it, it doesn't have to be something that's already making money. If it's making money, that's great, but it has to be a well-developed concept. But even if it's not yet launched, you have a chance to enter the Pirate Challenge and money. And not only money, access to attorneys, access to accountants, access to branding agencies, and access to mentorship, which is extremely important. So in addition to the Pirate Challenge, for those who are socially inclined, we are a part of the HULT Prize. So the HULT Prize is an international $1 million competition. Yes, you heard me correct. $1 million competition, and it revolves around social entrepreneurship. It's really, it embraces entrepreneurship as a way to solve the world's problems. It is not sponsored by ECU. It's an international event. And at ECU, we've had a campus competition for the last 4 years. And if you win our campus event, you then qualify for what they call the regional round. And the regional round can be anywhere in the world. So in the last 3 years, we have sent student teams from East Carolina to, Sweden, Kenya, England. We sent a team to Boston, to San Francisco. We sent a team to South America this past year. So there are opportunities to travel, to network, to get great mentoring, and to win $1 million prize if your idea is strong enough. So we have multiple competitions for anyone at ECU. If you're in our degree, that's great, but even if you're not, you are eligible to enter the Pirate Challenge and the HULT Prize. Please visit our website to learn more about the challenge and the HULT Prize. So in addition to a degree and a certificate and these competitions, we are big fans of internships. So a few years ago, a colleague and I, we developed the Rise 29 program. It is a way to use entrepreneurship and innovation and small business creation to help rejuvenate and revitalize Eastern NC. Two of the very important things at ECU, two of our core areas of our mission is the success of our students. That always comes first. But we also believe in regional transformation. So a big part of what we as an institution are trying to do is to create programs and to create smart young alums who help us revitalize and regenerate and continue to grow the East. Eastern North Carolina is a great place to live, great opportunities in the East. And we created Rise 29 as a program to help revitalize Eastern North Carolina. And a big component of it, $600,000, it's $1 million grant. $600,000 of that grant revolves around internships. And again, it could be internships from anyone at ECU is eligible. But the Miller School, we certainly have our fair share, and we have a lot of very successful interns in the program. So if you have an opportunity to apply to Rise 29 as you mature in your academic career, highly suggest that you do so. And you have a chance to not only make money, but to help a local company solve problems. And we have an internship course that you can sign up for. So in this one program, you can get paid, you can get credit, and you can get great experience. Great experience. Something else is that we believe in students becoming leaders. So we have a club, it's called CEO. It's the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization. And we started the club 3 years ago. In fact, Brady Hillhouse was our president last year. Brady went to Tampa for the National CEO Conference. He represented us in the Miller School. Brady won the National CEO Student Leader of the Year Award. Again, Brady Hillhouse from East Carolina University from the Miller School of Entrepreneurship won the National Leadership Award. That's the type of quality young people that we have in the Miller School and in East Carolina. This past year, we also launched an honor society. So now we have a specific honor society for entrepreneurship, and we're very excited. It's in the Miller School. So you can see a theme as we've developed the Miller School. We're really trying to create assets and programs that serve you, to give you a great experience. That I'm a believer that the next 4 years of your life should help you get ready for the next 40 years of your life. Certainly you'll have many other experiences in life, you'll have career opportunities, but in the next 4 years, we want to help lay that foundation for preparing you for the next 40 years of your life, especially if you're interested in entrepreneurial life, an entrepreneurial career path. And that is the great thing about entrepreneurship, that I've heard many people say that in these trying times, and we're in some very trying times, it's innovation and entrepreneurship that will help us figure a way out of this. So the great thing about entrepreneurship, and if you're in our programs, is that you develop an entrepreneurial mindset. And while we're very excited to help you grow your skill set and learn entrepreneurial knowledge in the process, we're just as excited to help you develop that entrepreneurial mindset. That's very important, that when you look at things, you don't see problems, you see opportunities. And it really is something that excites us, to work with young people to help them develop that entrepreneurial mindset. So I've got some stories I would like to tell, and I've got some other things I'd like to talk about, but I do want to do a quick pause, see if you have any questions. Now, I've been told that in these sessions, it's sometimes challenging to get people to ask questions, but if you're here for the Miller School session, I'm imagining that you're very entrepreneurial and that you're very engaging, and we talk about things like sales, we talk about pitch. So I'm going to pause because I am very confident that you have a question to ask, that someone has a question to ask. So don't let me down, guys. Anybody with a question so far, happy to answer any questions. Now, you could say I'm just so convincing, I've explained everything so well that you don't have any questions, but I'm not taking that. Someone has to have a question. Any questions? All right, so a part of the entrepreneurial process is understanding your customers and incentivizing them. So I have a Miller School shirt. This is not a t-shirt. This is actually a polo shirt with the Miller School of Entrepreneurship on it. So the first person who asks a question will get a Miller School polo. Any takers? Come on now. All right, well, I'm going to start to tell a story, and I'm going to give you time to formulate a question. All right, first person who asks a question gets this very nice, very high profile Miller School polo, not a t-shirt, but a polo. So think about it. Okay, so I told you about Taylor Walden, who won the Pirate Challenge. Taylor is from the Triad. I'm very excited to say she decided to open the business in Greenville. So she is, the business is about 15 minutes from East Carolina University. I want to tell you about Magus. Magus is a very innovative young person who graduated from ECU in 2018. Interestingly enough, Magus graduated with a degree in engineering, in computer science, and an entrepreneurship certificate. Magus was the first president of our CEO chapter, just one of the nicest young people you'll ever meet. Magus was actually in the Pirate Challenge. He made it to the finals. He did not place in the top 3. So in the Pirate Challenge, he certainly was a winner, but did not qualify for the top 3 position. But on the way, as he was graduating, on the way out of ECU, he was really passionate about developing products around disaster relief. We happened to see the IBM, yes, that IBM, Call for Code international competition. And guess what? The theme of the competition was disaster relief. So, are you ready? Are you sitting down? Because these are some mind-boggling numbers. Magus connected with some others across the country to develop a team. They competed in a competition sponsored by IBM. Over 100,000 coders, that's 100,000 coders from over 100 countries all throughout the world competed in this competition. And I'm very proud to say that in fall of 2018, Magus and his team were on the stage in San Francisco to accept the trophy for first place in the IBM Call for Code Challenge. They won $200,000, and Magus is employed at IBM as we speak. That's the type of quality people we have in the Miller School of Entrepreneurship. So I have been told that we have a question.
That's great, Dr. Harris. So our first question is from Koa, and his question is, what's the difference between the entrepreneurship certificate and the entrepreneurship degree?
Fantastic question. Great question. And it really is this. So a degree program is 120 hours. What that is saying is that at East Carolina University, your primary academic field of study is entrepreneurship. So again, as I discussed, that there is a minor or specialty area in our degree. So we certainly want you taking classes outside of the Miller School, but your primary focus is on entrepreneurship. So if you are someone who wants to be an entrepreneur or have that entrepreneurial career, I highly suggest that you consider the Bachelor's of Science in Entrepreneurship. But let's just say that you're someone in art and your passion is art, and you know, hey, I want a degree in art. But I know as an artist, there's a very good chance I'm going to become an entrepreneur. Or if that passion and that training that you really need is in art, I would encourage you to receive a degree in art and add a certificate. So a certificate is 4 courses. So it's a slice of the entrepreneurial program. But it's to say that you're going to really focus on developing your knowledge around another area, another degree, but that you're going to tie it into entrepreneurship. But if you get a degree in entrepreneurship, it's to say that your primary objective is to learn every element of the entrepreneurial process. Hope that answers the question. And I think we have a second question. And for the second question, guess what you get? This is a nice travel mug from the Miller School of Entrepreneurship. So fire away.
Perfect. So our second question is from Devin, and his question is entrepreneurship the right path for me if I want to go into conservationism?
Okay, that's an interesting question. So I may ask when you get to campus to follow up, because I'd like to hear some more about what your career plans are around that area. As we have talked about, certainly in entrepreneurship, that it is a part of the business field, but entrepreneurship is something that applies in many areas. That it's got a social component for sure. So you don't have to create a company that makes an app. You don't have to create a company that makes a product. You could create a nonprofit. And I would certainly suggest, if you create a nonprofit, that you need to operate it in an entrepreneurial way. So it gets back into that entrepreneurial mindset. So a big component of entrepreneurship is not only learning how to organize the resources, how to put your model together to launch a venture of any type, but it's also that entrepreneurial mindset, so that when you see problems, what you really see are opportunities. And that in our degree, if you get the degree in entrepreneurship, we really help you understand every facet of the entrepreneurial process, from how to create an idea, how to determine if that idea is a real opportunity. The joke that we always say is the thing that separates an idea from an opportunity are customers. In other words, you got to have someone who'll pay something for the product or the service. But it could be a nonprofit as well. But then we help you understand strategy. We help you understand finance. And I know for some, they say, oh, I don't know about the finance. But I would say it's very important when you own the business that you understand things like cash flow, that you understand things like capital acquisition. Very important. And that you understand how to put the resources together, how you put that team together to launch. So I know that's a long answer, and what I would encourage you is to follow up early fall. But I think if your passion is conservation, if your passion is app development, if your passion is something that's a creative art, entrepreneurship is a degree for anyone who's really interested in the entrepreneurial process. Hope that is a pretty good response for the question. I hope so. If not, please follow up in the fall, and I'm happy to elaborate some more. So good questions. I appreciate it. Anybody want to hear another story? I'm not going to tell another story until someone says, yeah, I want to hear another story. Someone chime in for me.
Well, Dr. Harris, maybe while you're waiting on someone to chime in, you could talk about the students that entered the Entrepreneurship Challenge this past year and sold fishing licenses.
Yes.
And how that contributed to conservation in a way.
Great setup. Thanks, Kevin. That's exactly right. So the team that won the Pirate Challenge this past year, she's actually a graduate student in the biology department. Her husband is actually an app developer who spent some time in Silicon Valley. Again, look at the type of talent that we have on our campus. So if you fish or you hunt, you have to renew your license every year. Yes, I know there's opportunities to buy a lifetime, but it's often the case that you have to renew. And for some people, it's not the most pleasant experience to have to renew a license. Sometimes you forget. And every state has a comparable process, but not exactly the same. So what this team did is that they created an app, an actual platform that allows you to renew your fishing license in a real easy way. They charge a convenience fee, and they last time I checked, they had already exceeded $40,000 in sales. And a part of their plan is that they believe in conservation of rivers, lakes, and the ocean. So they want more people to fish, but to be responsible in the way they fish. So thanks, great feed in from Kevin. That's a great example I should have thought of, but that's why it's a team effort. See, that's a great thing about entrepreneurship. It's a team effort. You complement each other. Anyone up for some other stories? All right, good deal. So that's it. I've talked about Hannah. I've talked about Taylor. Talked about Brady. I have talked about Magus. Let me tell you a story about Pranaya. So Pranaya, she is someone else who was in our certificate. She graduated this past May with a certificate in entrepreneurship. She was actually in, I believe, the biology department, if I'm not mistaken. Pranaya won the HULT Prize event at ECU a few years ago. She was able to go to London, England to compete to represent East Carolina. She was competing against Oxford and Cambridge. That's the type of quality of an idea and quality of a person that Pranaya is. She did not win, but from what I heard, she impressed the judges, and she was able to hold her own against students from Oxford and Cambridge. So Pranaya, and her venture is also a socially responsible venture around mental health. Pranaya, I am proud to say, this month started med school at East Carolina University. So she is now a first-year med school student. So when you think about the Miller School, certainly we're very excited to talk about our degree. Very excited to talk about our certificate, but the exciting thing is that you get to interact with students from all across the campus. We have some who graduate, launch the business that's exceeded $1 million in sales. Some who graduate, win international events, $200,000 in prize money from IBM, and he still mentors students in our program as we speak. We have some who graduate and end up in medical school. So very exciting opportunities in the middle school to interact with many creative. Okay, looks like we have another question. Fire away, Kevin.
Perfect. So this question is from Anonymous, so we don't have a name, but his question is the Capstone program required in the Entrepreneurship BS degree? And I think he may be referring to the Capstone Project in your Capstone course.
Is it required? Yes, it is required. So the Capstone course in the degree program is called New Venture Launch. Now, as you go through our academic program, for example, there's a course that's called Opportunity Assessment. It's called Innovation and Opportunity Assessment. In that course, we help you learn what separates an idea from an opportunity. In the entrepreneurial finance class, you start to put together some of your financial projections. You understand things like cash flow and how to raise capital, so that when you're signing up for that Capstone course, the New Venture Launch, all your courses before then have gotten you ready for that experience. So that in that course, we actually help you understand how to put it together. You're expected to launch the business. You're expected to incorporate as a team before you graduate. So that's the great thing about that course. It pulls it all together. But in your other classes, you've already learned the skills and you're already starting to put elements of your model together. In certain other classes, like in my class, you get to work in a consulting course where you solve problems for other clients. So as you put together your own ideas, in some of our classes, you get to work with clients where you see their issues, their challenges, and you help them solve their problems, and that provides you great experience. So imagine you're in a job interview that you graduate with the Bachelor's of Science in Entrepreneurship, and at 23, you say to yourself, hey, I'm not at the stage where I want to launch now. I know eventually I would like to launch the business, but not now. So I want to start on a career path. And you're in a job interview, and you have someone who says, can you tell me about an experience where you had to convince someone else that your idea is a good one? Well, when you talk about the fact that in certain courses you had to work with external clients to create professional consulting reports entrepreneurs and to convince them that your recommendations are appropriate, they're cost effective, and an implementation plan on how to do it. And then you talk about that you've actually had to develop an idea and take it all the way to launch. I promise you in that job, you will impress whoever's on the other side of the room. Absolutely promise you. Those are the type of job skills that are so critical in the 21st century. And while we're always excited to talk about the underlying theories and the concepts, what we're very excited is to give you opportunities to practice. You know, as I created this degree, we actually looked at other fields of study where you do a lot of practicums and a lot of practice. So we really believe heavily on the application side. We're going to make sure that you have the knowledge, and we're going to make sure that you have the fundamental understanding of entrepreneurship process. But we're going to push you, and we're going to push you to actually apply the knowledge. A few terms we love to talk about in the Miller School. We love to talk about resiliency. We love to talk about toughness. We love to talk about grit. And often those are developed through experiences. And countless times I've had to work with teams that have struggled early on to understand how to work with a business client, how to understand their business, how to understand their industry, how to develop recommendations and understand the costs, understand how to implement them. And a part of the learning is that struggle. Now, certainly you'll have faculty, you'll have mentors that guide you through the process. We are there every step of the way to guide you. That everyone in the Miller School, if you ask them, their real passion is teaching. They love to work with young people. But a part of that process is to push you and to make you honestly a little uncomfortable and to put you in situations where you have to stretch. I don't know if anyone is a fan of exercising, but you know what they say, no pain, no gain. So as you exercise and you're exercising your upper body or your legs, you know, those muscles start to tighten up. Well, the same thing applies to that brain of yours, that we need to push you. We need to make you think. We need to give you great experiences and guide you through them. But we want to develop young, tough-minded, gritty entrepreneurs who really understand the entrepreneurial process and have great experiences to put on the resume. Any questions, Kevin? If not, some more stories. All right. Now, I don't want to hold us up because I'm sure you guys are hungry and you're starting to get ready for other things. So I just want to emphasize one other thing. So in the Pirate Challenge last year, of the 123 teams from all throughout the campus, 50 different majors, we had 123 in round one, 12 in round two, 6 in the final round. 2 of the 6 finalists were freshmen last year. So as an incoming freshman, do not think this is something that's possible, too big. This is something you can do. So again, we believe in challenging. So if you have that idea and you're willing to work hard, I think you should enter the Pirate Challenge this fall semester. I think we have one more question. Fire away, Kevin.
I think we do. So this question again is from Koa. And the question is, once you complete the required courses for the certificate, is there a final or some sort of test or project?
Thank you. Excellent question again. So in the capstone course of the certificate, which is also a course that you have to take in our degree, it's called the Entrepreneurial Business Planning course. So in that course, you put together the business model or the business plan. So in the certificate, you don't have to go all the way to launch. So in our degree, we take you all the way to the business launch. But in the certificate, we do make sure that you have that understanding of the entrepreneurial process, some of the marketing, some of the finance. And then that capstone course, there is a project where you have to put the elements of your plan together so that you have a full understanding of what your concept is, and that you can continue to work with mentors to launch the concept if you so desire. Interestingly enough, the departments that provide us the most certificate students are fashion, merchandising, and the dance department. Why? Because a lot of those already think an entrepreneurial way, and they have a skill that is in demand. So, any questions? Okay, so I'm going to start to wrap up because, like I was saying, I'm sure you guys have other things to do. I could talk all night about the Miller School, about ECU, about the entrepreneurial innovative efforts on the campus. But what I really want to emphasize, and I'm going to say this in a respectful way, because as we come back to campus, we certainly understand it's very trying times, there's challenging times, and we want to make sure that your safety comes first and that you're safe. But what I really want to emphasize is that as you start ECU, to get involved in clubs, to get involved in your academic major, to get involved with your faculty, to really get to know your faculty. Again, I know it sounds as if it's a cliche, but the next 4 years of your life is to help get you ready for the next 40 years of your life. So I want you to embrace the experiences at ECU. Certainly you're here for a degree. Your number one objective is to come to ECU and graduate with a degree. But if you graduate with a degree and that's all you do, honestly, I think you're selling yourself short. You need to leave ECU with a degree that makes you very excited, but also great experiences, great friendships. So embrace the challenge. We're very excited to have you at ECU. As I say, I'm an alum. My own son is actually a rising sophomore at ECU. So certainly I bleed the purple and the gold, and we're very excited to have you at ECU. And in the fall time, if you have any questions, if you want to follow up, I am a call, a WebEx, or a visit away. We'd love to really get involved with your career and to help you develop that entrepreneurial plan for the future. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you logging in. And in the fall, if you have any questions, just follow up with me.